May, my TBR jar picked out 8 books for me to read, and out of those 8, I've only read one. Hi friends, welcome back or welcome if you are new. My name is Mali and welcome to the very first vlog in my new apartment. It is completely messy right now. I'm still unpacking and I don't have any bookshelves, so that's why there's book stacks on the floor. I left my previous bookshelf back home because I eventually want to get new bookshelves and put up 2 behind me. So in the future, this will be a cozy little library. But for now, the books are living in stacks. So now that I explained my living situation, welcome to the worst I've ever done at reading from my physical TBR. Of course, I'm giving myself some grace and understanding because I was moving and that's very, very stressful. There was literally days where I could only read about 20 minutes at a time because I was just so tired and exhausted. However, I love a challenge, so in this video, we will be attempting to read the remaining 7 books from my May TBR in exactly 7 days. Today is May 25th, it's a Sunday, and so we have until next Sunday to read the following: If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin, Small Boat. This was shortlisted for the Booker Prize. I'm very, very intrigued by this. I actually thought that this was going to be the winner, but it wasn't. Abigail. This is by Magda Sabo, so I know I'm going to adore this one. I also have The Lost Daughter by Elena Ferrante. This is going to be in Elena Ferrante's summer, so I just need to read this to get the summer started. Strangers I Know. This is another Italian translated fiction that I'm really, really intrigued by. This follows a family. I love reading about family dynamics. Bibliophobia. I'm really, really intrigued by this memoir. And then lastly, we have Brother Bronte. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with this one just because I am so intrigued. This is like a literary dystopian about climate change and ban on literature. Also, I absolutely adore this cover. I think it's so stunning. I'm just gonna start it and I'm gonna tell you guys how it goes.
Quando o piano já não quer mais tocar e as teclas pretas não saem do lugar, quando o corno inglês ter que ir pro xadrez porque não tem mais onde ficar.
Hi guys, so I have an update on Brother Bronte. I am so excited, by the way, at the idea of living alone from now on because back home I could never give you guys an update at a Monday 11 a.m. Why? Because of the constant construction noise in my neighborhood. This place is relatively quiet in terms of construction, so I'm really, really happy about that. You might hear neighbors. I have close neighbors, and there's traffic, but apart from that, there's no construction noise. I'm really, really happy that I can come on here on a Monday morning to give you guys an update and talk to the camera, because back home I could never do this because it will be drilling from 8 a.m. until 2 or 3 p.m. But anyways, I have an update on Brother Bronte. I'm about 30% in and I saw a review online and it was from the New York Times. So the review basically said that this is a dark psychedelic novel and I could not agree more. This is so surreal and weird in a lot of its subplots, and I'm liking it so far. It's okay. I'm not hating it. I think it's because I expected it to be weird because the blurb is very, very weird. And basically, this still is very much in the realm of literary dystopia, which is why I'm liking it. I'm very intrigued by this world and this dark landscape ravaged by climate change. So I'm really intrigued by the world setup and the world building. The world is set in the year 2038, so not so far away from now, but it's set in a Texas where it's kind of ruled by like a big brother type of company. Big Tex Fish Cannery, which is ran by Pablo Henry Crick. Basically, it's a company that has completely eroded the environment of these residents that live nearby. People don't have running electricity, they don't have running water because this company takes it all for their own, prophet. So the world is very desolate. People are struggling. They don't have any food or clean resources or anything like that. Everyone works at the company, but it's only mothers who work at the companies. I don't know why only mothers, but they're literally called worker mothers. And basically the mothers either work at the pools or work in the offices. And working at the pools is very grueling work. Hope it goes more in detail about that aspect, like why is it that only mothers work at the company. Oh, another really interesting thing, literature, reading, being literate is banned. Like our main characters, Neftali and Proserpina, are one of the few adults who know how to read. Basically, the new generation of children, they don't know how to read and they can't read and they don't read. Does it sound similar? Does it sound familiar? This book banning thing? Having books is illegal. There's literally like little gangs who go around and confiscate books. Our main character, Neftali, had that happen to her. Basically, the book opens with that, with a police raid, and they got rid of all the books that she had in her home, and she's really sad about it because they were the books that she had for years and that her mother had for years. Really, really interesting. I'm really intrigued at this world so far, and I hope it gets explained more in depth and we get to understand how the world came to this way. I think there's gonna be a big plot on Neftali and Proserpina dismantling this big company and the world as they know it and like reverting it back to how it was before. And as what's going on right now, we're kind of just following Neftali and Proserpina going around the town and doing little side things, like little side quests. Like we saw them go into the big fishing company to visit their mothers, and we saw how that worked. Basically, the mothers are like slaves and they're constantly surveilled by guards that are armed. We also saw them fight one of the gangs that I mentioned earlier. They're literally kids who go around terrorizing the neighborhood and they work hand in hand with the police in order to confiscate books and shred them. We had a lice incident. Proserpina got lice, and this is what I mean that's kind of surreal because it explains that there's like a city of lice living in her head, like literally like little businessman. They have a city, they have cars, they're going to work. So a lot of things going on in here. No idea where any of this is going, by the way. No idea. Like I don't know what else I'm gonna read about. So far, I'm really enjoying the world that this is setting. I am on page 125. I read quite a bit of it this morning, so I want to read some more of it today before I go to work. Let's see how much I can read.
Se o maestro não puder aguentar, e sua batuta faz do presto ralentar, é nesse intermezzo que ajoelho e rezo.
Hi friends, apologies if you guys can hear my fan. I have it on because it's just way too hot in this apartment, especially in this room, which is like my living room area. During the afternoon, the sun is all in this room. I like it because I love the lighting in here, but it's just way too hot without ceiling fans, and I don't have any right now. They're coming soon. Fan updates aside, I do have some reading updates. Yesterday, Wednesday, I finished Brother Bronte, and this was okay. I didn't love or hate it. It was just very, very weird, and it just kept getting weirder. I was just questioning what the point of this novel was, and the aspects that I liked about this were just buried under each kooky subplot that emerged. Like at one point, you just have the two main characters wandering around the town and just doing nothing. There's so much going on in this book, but at the same time, almost nothing goes on in here. Neftali finds a tiger in a barn and she decides to raise it, and she feeds it and they become friends somehow. And then there is a underground tamale organization. So yeah, there was just a lot in here, and unfortunately I didn't like all of it. Like I said, I was wondering what the point of this novel was at some point, and I think about the 200-page mark I was ready for this book to be over and done with. There even is a part that I skipped completely. This book is divided in 3 parts. This part 1, we get to understand the world and we get to know who Neftali and Prosperina is. And then there's part 2, which is about this fictional author in the novel, and it's kind of set decades before the events of Brother Bronte, and I didn't care for it, so I kind of skipped like the last 10 pages of that chapter, sorry to say. And then in part 3, we go back to Neftali and Prosperina, and that's when we find the Bengal tiger and all that. The main plot line promises like a revenge novel, like all those women band together and take down Pablo Henry Crick, which is like the villain of the book. But that doesn't really happen, especially not in the way that the blurb sets it up to be. Like it's not like this huge action-packed type of thing. It's actually a very solitary resistance, a very quiet resistance. Yes, the women band together, but not exactly in the way that you think. Yeah, I was just left wondering what was the point of this novel. I didn't hate it. I didn't like it. It was okay. I'm glad that I'm done and over with it. I then picked up If Beale Street Could Talk just because I wanted a short little read. I decided to go for this one because this has been part of my TBRs before and I've never gotten around to it. So I thought this was the perfect time to get to it. I also have read a James Baldwin before. This is now my second James Baldwin. My first was Giovanni's Room. I am, however, open to rereading that book because I read it so long ago. I don't actually remember anything about that novel. The first time I read it, I did rate it pretty high, but again, I don't remember that book at all. I'm keen to be reading that book soon, but If Beale Street Could Talk, I know the story already because I had watched the movie so long ago. I forgot who the director was, but that movie is absolutely gorgeous. It's so beautiful, and so scenes from that movie keep coming back to me while I'm reading. The story as it is about these two young black teens. I think, oh my god, I don't know what time period they are in, like maybe 60s. I want to say 60s New York City. Bonnie and Tish, they have been childhood friends and they have been in love for years and years and years. It basically is their love story, but also their story of bravery and resilience because Bonnie is accused of a crime that he didn't do. Back then, a police officer could make up anything and put a young black person in jail, and it still happens to this day, but back then it was even worse. Tish and Tish's family are trying their best to prove that he's innocent, that he wasn't the person of the crime that he's accused of. I started this book yesterday. I'm on page 130 today, and I read the majority of it today. I'm absolutely loving it. The writing is so beautiful, you guys. Like, it's so gorgeous. I highlighted quite a few pages in this. I'm so keen on finishing this today. I only have about 40 pages, so I think that's completely feasible for me. Yeah, I will tell you guys more about it later, I guess, when I'm done with it. But so far, I'm absolutely loving it. Like, the writing in this is absolutely beautiful. Like, I haven't read a James Baldwin in a hot minute, and now I want to read his entire backlist. I want to read everything he's ever written. Like, I get why he is like a nation's gem because his writing is absolutely gorgeous, and just the way he talks about love and sex and also real political problems of the 60s. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Hi, good evening, friends. I thought I would come on here for a update because around this time last night, I did finish If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin, and I really enjoyed it until the very end where it gave me an abrupt open ending, and I did not like that at all. Like, I want to know what happened to Fonnie and Tish. I wanted more of their story. I just wanted a conclusion where it be a happy ending or a sad ending. I wanted either of those, but I did really enjoy this. I will definitely be reading more James Baldwin in the future. The writing in this is gorgeous. There's so many beautiful quotes. Let me pull one up for you guys because you guys need an example. Just remember, love brought you here. If you trusted love this far, don't panic now. Beautiful book on love and family and being black in America. Very much enjoyed my second James Baldwin. And then this morning I picked up The Lost Daughter by Elena Ferrante. I just picked this up because I was in the mood for another short book, and I haven't read Elena Ferrante in a hot minute. It's been a while since I got into her writing, and I'm very, very happy to be back into her world and into her writing style. It's absolutely stunning. I love her writing. And so this follows a woman who quite recently is alone for the very first time. Her husband is in Canada, and so are her two daughters. And so she finds herself with nothing to do during the summer. And so I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I can see my little cat Chai in the background. But yeah, she found herself alone for the very first time during the summer, and so she decides to take a holiday, right? Go on a trip, to the beach and chill out and hang out and read and write. But it is during that vacation that she starts observing this family, this Neapolitan family. They're quite poor, they have a different dialect, but she is enthralled by the family and their dynamics, especially this young, attractive woman and her young daughter. And it is while observing this family that she begins to think back on her own experience as a mother to her daughters. She's thinking a lot on how she raised her children. She's thinking a lot of like altercations and arguments and disagreements that she will have with her daughters, and then find it that the thing will escalate from her part and she'll be like, I don't know how it got there. And so her own actions are scaring her. It's talking a lot on motherhood, and I'm really liking it so far. Not a lot is happening, but I really am just enjoying being back in Elena Ferrante's world and being in her writing. I am exactly 73 pages in. I could probably finish this tonight. I don't know, but I'll try my best. If I don't finish it tonight, I'll definitely finish it tomorrow morning. I just want to give you guys a little update before I finished it, and hopefully tomorrow we can start another book. Tomorrow's Saturday, which is our last day of this little challenge. I still have 4 books left, so I didn't complete the challenge, but it's okay. I'm just glad that I pushed myself to read more for my monthly TBR. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go read and have another sip of my ice cold Coke Zero. So good. You know, a Coke Zero is good when it like attacks your mouth. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go read. Good morning. I am about to make my coffee right now, but I decided to come on here because this morning I finished The Lost Daughter. And I gotta say that I really like this as an exploration on motherhood and womanhood. It is not my favorite Elena Ferrante, but that does not mean that I did not enjoy my time with this. I really love being back in Elena Ferrante's world, in her mind, and being immersed in her writing. I think her writing is absolutely gorgeous. And so this basically explores womanhood and motherhood in all its nuances. I think the way Elena Ferrante explores motherhood is real and raw. A lot of mothers in her books, especially this one, talks about how they felt resentful of their children. They felt protective, sure, and they loved them to death, but they also realized that they shouldn't hold back a lot of themselves, and that the children were kind of like a dark mirror of their mothers. Our main character in here talks about how she will notice negative traits about her daughters, and she will then reflect them, but like those same negative traits are ones that I have. Our main character also talks about how her children held her back in her life. The mothers in these books are sort of messy if you want to read them from that point of view, but truly they are just overworked, overtired, overwhelmed mothers, and sometimes they gotta choose themselves. You know, there is a part or scene where our main character talks about how she had to leave her daughters in order to live the life she wanted to live, even if just for a couple of years. Yeah, I really enjoyed this exploration on motherhood and womanhood. This is why I can't believe the claims that Elena Ferrante is actually a man. There's no way a man can write about motherhood, womanhood, girlhood in the way that a woman can. There is a woman's touch to all of these issues. So there's no way Elena Ferrante is a man. There's absolutely no way. There's no way. There's a lot of similarities between this and the Neapolitan Quartet. All have the themes of education and obsession, girlhood. So again, while not my favorite Elena Ferrante, I did enjoy my time with this. I definitely want to read more Elena Ferrante this summer. I think it's time for me to finally finish the Neapolitan Quartet. I still haven't read the 4th and final book, but I think I'm just so scared because then after that, I can never read the Neapolitan Quartet for the first time again. But at the same time, I really want to reread My Brilliant Friend. So maybe I could finish the 4th and then reread the series again. I feel like I will reread that series for years and years to come anyway. I do have these 2 books for my monthly TBR that I'm eyeing right now. So I have small both. This is 120-ish pages. I could technically finish this today, but I don't think so because I will be busy editing and I have work later. So I don't think I can finish this today. And then I have Strangers I Know. This is another Italian literature. This is about a family. I think the family is deaf and dysfunctional as hell. And that is very, very intriguing to me. This one is nearly 200 pages though, so it will take me a little longer to finish. I don't think I will finish it in this video, but it's the one that I'm really, really angling for right now. I'm gonna go for Strangers I Know. I'm gonna make my coffee and sit down and start this. So it is now June. Our little challenge is over. I didn't do as well as I wanted to, but I also didn't do as badly as I thought I would. So this does mean that I read 4 books out of 8 from my physical TBR. I could even say 4.5 because there's one book from my TBR that I'm still currently reading. To give you guys a little recap, I read Brother Bronte. I really liked the atmosphere of this novel. The end of the world feeling was fantastically bleak and desolate. However, it was both an underwhelming and overwhelming read. Underwhelming in the fact that it was directionless at times. I found it a little bit meandering, and the big revenge plot kind of goes nowhere and is not really the main focus of the story, and overwhelming in a sense that so many things happened in this book. There are so many kooky, weird subplots that at times I was in the flow of it, but other times I was just fed up. I then read If Beale Street Could Talk, and this was beautiful. I loved Baldwin's writing, which comes to no surprise, seeing as he is so greatly loved. This was beautiful and raw, and Fonny and Tish are characters that will stay with me for a long time to come. My only gripe with this book is that the ending was really abrupt and disappointing. And The Lost Daughter, which was the last and third book that we finished in this vlog. I love Ferrante's writing and I love her exploration on motherhood. Her mothers are neither bad mothers or good mothers. They're just real and raw. And as for the book that I started but didn't finish in this vlog was Strangers I Know. I am not even 50 pages in, so I can't tell you guys too much, but I am intrigued to keep reading. So far, we're getting the lore on our main characters' parents and their childhood and how they met. It's very interesting because they are both deaf, and I'm really liking that it's reading like a memoir. I am expecting to love this, so hopefully by the end of the month I'll be giving you guys my thoughts in my June wrap up. And with that, we have come to the end of the video. I am so sad for the books that I didn't get around to, especially Abigail by Magda Sabo, but I'll be trying my damn hardest to read this in June. As for the other books that I didn't get to, I still have to read Small Boat and Bibliophobia. But with how hectic May was, I'm really happy with the books that I got around to. I'm happy that I halved my monthly TBR. And hopefully in the coming weeks, I'll be feeling more settled so that I can give you guys quality vlogs again, and so that this doesn't happen again. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this week, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.